I, as a person, have never been in a political climate in this country where I've been accepted.
Welcome back to Fishing Without Bait, a lifetime without definitive expectations, where we're continuing our conversation with our good friend Zeke.
Unfortunately,
You've packed a lot of living.
Yeah. I say unfortunately, but I don't mean it like facetiously. Like it's just like I can see that like some people my age have still that childlike innocence, but young-minded innocence. They don't know, or they don't realize they're naive yet. You know, I just had a good conversation with a younger student who's like, "I want to make this my career. I will do anything to make this career." And he sent me a text about it, and the first thing I said to him was like, "All right, I mean, I think that's possible, but what are you willing to sacrifice first? Think about that. Come back when you got an answer." And he did come back with an answer. And I just gave him like a big spiel, like, all right, you're gonna probably be like risking this, like injury time and your money and stuff like this. Like if you have anything important in your family or anything in your life that you want to do, you're probably gonna sacrifice it for wrestling. And he's young now. He even recognizes that, like, yeah, things may change. I said, but that's what's gonna take to require to get to wherever you want to go. If you want to make it to in Mexico, there's gonna be a lot of miles on that road. You know what I mean? You got to find a job that supports yourself. I mean, I gave him told him, like, your thing is if you graduate high school, awesome. That should be your first priority. If you want to go to college or trade school, that's up to you. But I say you gotta find a way to keep the money going. You gotta find a way to divide your time. Like you have to be realistic about this because everyone wants to be in the biggest company, making all the money in the world. But what are you willing to give up to get there? Like, yeah.
Well, generally what I suggest to people, Zeke, my own patients, I say, keep your head in the clouds. But I said, here's the other important part, and maybe the suck part of life. You got to keep your feet in the ground.
You have to, because when a lot of wrestlers put a lot of time and energy, the years into this, the miles into this, maxed out credit cards for this, and there's a saying in wrestling where wrestling doesn't owe you a thing. Now, of course, it doesn't. It's not a human. It's not like a person that you work to deal out with. You may not get signed. You may not get booked on those cool shows. You may only get to that seminar and you paid that $70 you paid, and you're now on that pre-show. That is always going to happen to you. But I feel like a lot of people put so much effort into it. They feel like they're old and they turn bitter, right? They're bitter about something they love now, right? Like it's like seeing like an MLB coach that just won't retire because he's been doing this for the last 20 years and just like, dude, just let it go. Like go sip on the Arnold Palmer, enjoy your retirement. But he's like, no, I gotta be here until like the next 4 generations come through. He's retiring at 85.
Well, we have the concept of, it's a business concept, but we put it into practice in all aspects of life, and that's return on investment. Mm-hmm. What return am I getting on this investment?
Exactly.
At relationships, careers, friendships, buying a car. What return am I getting on this investment? And for some people, they're not getting a whole lot of return on the investment.
Oh, no, they're not. And it's sad. But I mean, like I said, wrestling doesn't owe you anything. And like the moment, like I can say it to you 1,000 times, or I can say it to the person I was talking to 1,000 times, wrestling doesn't owe you anything. It's not going to click until you experience it. When you put in the effort, when you feel cheated, I was like, wrestling doesn't owe you anything. And that's what you're going to do 2 things. You're going to learn to accept it, or you're going to get bitter and mad at that. And you don't say, well, I deserve it, so I'm going to go again and again and again. And what's the definition of insanity? Right. So either you're going to like lose your mind to this, or you're going to realize that some investments ain't worth making. Right. And I'm not saying you shouldn't pursue your dreams. That's not what I'm saying, people. Pursue your dreams, follow them, give yourself a chance. But like, be realistic. Right. If you don't have all the art supplies money to like make all this art you want to do, well, maybe you can't make all the art you want. Right. You trying to put that pressure on yourself, you can go insane. If you're trying to run an art gallery every week, You know how many long an artist has to do artworks to actually have an entire art gallery just dedicated to them? For some people, it takes 15 years. Van Gogh didn't get it till he was dead. You know what I mean? Like it's he didn't know he was gonna get out of it, but like he was just doing the investments now, learning how to paint now. Same with people today. Same with Kendrick. Same with Kenny Omega. I no matter what we say about those people, I bet they didn't think they were going to get that far, right? But there's so many people who did not get that far. They could have made the same level of investments, time, money, sacrifices. It's just not guaranteed to you.
Most people don't make choices, Zeke, because number one, their fear of a failure, fear of embarrassment, and also what they also fear is how are others going to view my choice?
Well, I mean, well, man, this is a little bit. So, I mean, my grandma used to say, like, people gonna talk about you to the day you dead, like just like that. It's true. I mean, they're always gonna have some opinion about you. Even to this day, you probably argue with somebody about the legacy of MLK. You're just gonna have to. There's so many people who are gonna have so many different opinions of what you do, what you say, what you wear, and I guess my advice would that to be, as long as you're not like hurting people, stealing from people, what's the judgment? Like, truly, what's the judgment? Like, to that point, like, you could say, like, oh, well, this is against my religion. Okay, that's fine. Or this is not what I'm used to. Okay, that's fine. But are they hurting anybody? If the answer is no, or stealing from anybody, or cheating somebody, like, if the answer is no, like, let them do it.
You mentioned in the past that if you're doing something ethically, then have no concern. And all these tattoos, one of them on this arm says "do no harm." Okay. And here's my thoughts, Zeke. As long as you're doing no intentional harm to anyone or anything, you do as you choose.
I mean, yeah, essentially, yeah. I mean, why do anything else? Because people gonna do it anyway. Let's be honest. Like, people, if they want to do something, whether it's just race cars or find cheap ways to make money, they're gonna kind of do it anyway. We just have to hope people are doing it ethically.
Most people take their own self-worth from how others perceive them.
I mean, there is that too. I mean, I think that's like part of the calculations. If my friends view me as a bad person, I feel crappy about myself. Maybe I am a bad person. You know what I mean? But that's a part of the conversation.
Well, you certainly have to take a look at that.
Yeah.
But, and again, what is a friend? We've talked on this show about we go from acquaintances to friends of commonality. There's probably people in the wrestling game or where you worked before that you were friends of commonality because you shared that particular, you worked together, you were on a bowling team, golf league, whatever.
Right.
But after that commonality is over, no animosity or ill will. You two just float away.
Yeah.
You go on your life's work. But then there's bonded life companions, about people who are there. I call them 3 a.m. friends. Someone if you were stuck on the road, you called them at 3 a.m. that without question, they'd get out of bed and come and get you. Or quite often we ask this question, Zeke, who do you trust so much in your life that if they said, fall, I'll catch you, you'd fall without hesitation because that's how much you trust them?
I mean, that's very few people. but yeah, I mean, essentially, people.
If you have one person like in your life, add to and reinforce that relationship and let them know that.
Oh yeah, I definitely have to, because I mean, I think it's also important to let people, like your people, like you love and care about them. But yeah, like, exactly with friends. I mean, like close acquaintance, obviously. I mean, don't take your self-worth from people that you work with. I mean, that opinion can change daily, weekly, quarterly for some people. But like, your self-worth is definitely driven from your self-judgment and from your choices that you leave out. But I mean, obviously, I want people to see that I'm a good person. At least, hopefully. I mean, in wrestling, you can flip me off all you want. I don't care. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a part of the calculation, if that makes sense.
We want to model behavior. We want to talk about integrity, honesty. And we talk about this on the show frequently when I ask people, generally what I ask people is what's good about you? And a lot of people say, well, that's this. And now here's what I ask them, Zeke. I say, do you know the difference between right and wrong? Do you have a moral compass? Can you be dependable? Can you tell the truth? And do you treat people with courtesy and respect? Those are the 5 greatest attributes that a human being can have. And if I say, tell me about yourself, and they told me that, I'd say, that's all I need to know about you.
I mean, yeah, essentially. I mean, I feel like we have like the same philosophy on that. But I tell people like you can say whatever you want to me, but it's gonna be your actions I'm looking at. You can say like you can call me, you can be joking with me, whatever, trying to make fun of the other people. But honestly, if I see you trying to help somebody or treating especially like wait staff like respectfully, I'm like, all right, it's you. I mean, you may be a mixed bag, but at least you got something. You know what I mean? Like something good. Or you always like for me, I volunteer to coach and train. That's my volunteer work. It's just like, and for everyone thinks I get paid for it. Like, nope, I do this out of the kindness of my. Honestly, I tell people, well, what else would I be doing? What else would I be doing on a Monday night half the time? Um, Doing good things. Like, it's just, I think, should be a part of being a good person. You shouldn't need a camera or being promised money to do it.
Well, in the 12-step world, Zeke, we have a concept called the next right thing. What's the right thing to do?
Mm-hmm.
What's the right thing to do? Why did you do that? Because it was the right thing to do.
Right.
Whether anybody recognized it or not in me, I didn't do anything. I don't take a camera with me when I do good things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hi, Jim Ellermeyer back again from Fishing Without Bait. And as we offer and express transparency, this is a shameless plug for a book that we are selling. This is a 365-day calendar where we have a Zen type of picture to draw with a caption, and then we ask some thoughtful questions that people can answer, such as, what are your general thoughts about the quote? What is the morning thought in the morning? What is your evening thought? And what will you do tomorrow to spread kindness? Okay? And the beauty of this is that it's not numbered. You can pick any page out. It's not numbered. You can pick any day out and pick any quote out you want or not. So what we're doing, we're asking people to use this as some type of a mindfulness activity to start their day. When we start our day, not trying to race through the day or with anxiety, but rather maybe some introspective self-talk, some internal validation. And what we're doing here is this. Also, what we'd like to do, we're going to be offering some Patreon material, maybe some behind the themes things, or some of the podcasts that we've done where we take a deeper dive, and we'd like to get your thoughts on that. What would you like to see? Are there any podcasts that we've done where you would like us to do a deeper dive? So you can please contact the show, and we'd be glad to explore that. And as always, we're looking for stories of recovery. Everybody's in recovery from something. We like to know how you got here from there. And please be good to yourself. And yes, this is a shameless plug. Model behavior. There's a quote that we use often on this show, Zeke. It's called, "Your actions speak so loudly, I can't hear what you're saying."
That's fair. I mean, that's what I hope people, at least the people I'm like good with and everything, see that as well. Because I say a lot of goofy stuff. You know, I'm a goofy, corny person. I will say that's just the core of who I am. But I also think a lot of people.
Well, you'd often describe yourself as a weird, nice kid.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely a weird, nice kid. But like, double underline the weird part. But I'm a weird, nice kid. But I mean, yeah, hopefully people see me as a good person, because I try to just generally do good things. Maybe not all decisions you're going to agree with, and I understand that, and you're valid. Your points are valid, but it's for the good. Like, at least what I think would be good.
As long as you're doing no harm to anybody or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So you've made some changes in your life.
Mm-hmm. I made quite a few, especially I say my social circles. But personally, I decided like last February to start transitioning. I've always been, so that's like what, it's like 2026 now. Cool. So like past 5 years since like 2020, I was non-binary, dating. But as the last year, I started transitioning into a woman. I go by she, they. I do have a other preferred name, but for right now, I just want people to call me Zeke or Z. That's fine. I feel like that name is just more of like a personal side type of, if you know me outside the ring, if you know me outside of wrestling, like truly, you wouldn't know me by that name. And that's just how I feel about it. Because a lot of people don't know my government name either. So I just feel the same way. Like I just that change has always been something I always want to do for a while, but at the same time, I always felt like I didn't know if it was me yet. As we like took some time, think about it, talk to my other friends who are also transitioning from either male to female, female to male. Just be like, all right, how is it? What's this like? Like, how do you know? But I'm surrounded by good people, supportive people, and I just made a decision last year. So the past year, if since 2025, I've been transitioning, and if you've watched me in the last year, yeah, that's why I wear a bib. It's a halter top, but people call it the bib, like a bib, and I'm like, okay, but it looks cool. Some people just don't know, which is kind of goes into the gimmick of the queer coded villain. Like some people just never think about it. Some people saw what I was wearing, they're like, called it immediately. But it's been fun. I mean, a lot of people just been surprised at how my face has changed. So people's like, yes, I am balding, but my hair has grown back. I'm growing that back, so that's pretty funny. That wasn't the intention. I just that's just like a byproduct.
Okay.
But it's been quite not a mini self-discovery journey, but it's been one hell of a self-discovery journey. I think it's been beautiful so far. Some definitely like weird changes, but like it's been beautiful so far.
Our political climate is not conducive to accept people who aren't like them. How do you deal with that?
I would say that I, as a person, have never been in a political climate in this country where I've been accepted. I feel like we do our song and dance, right? What America's good at is propaganda. And we make it seem, no matter what party's in charge, that that things are better, things are moving forward. But we all know like how things are. I don't think that like even as a black person, you can say like we've made headway. Of course we did, but we still like the civil rights statutes are still being sued and fought over in court to this day. Like gay marriage 10 years ago, we thought it was soft. Nope, people are still talking about that, still trying to get overturned. I like personally just never been in the political climate like ever in my life where like people like me are generally accepted. Maybe by some pockets of the population in certain states. And that's wonderful. I'm great to have it. But by and large, I've never experienced that. So to have this new identity, or I guess to say just accepting this identity because I've always been this way.
Yes. I think that's a very important point.
Yeah, I think it's all been this way. So like I'm not, unfortunately, I'm used to it. Like I can walk down the street. I think Beachview is a beautiful neighborhood. I think we have great people here, but there's always a chance that I can walk down the street and get called N-word, like right there and then. I can be at the mall and it happens, or whatever's going on. They see me with the pride place, my nails painted, they can call me F slur and everything. Like so, it's just like no matter in my condition, what I was doing, saying, standing, sitting, whatever, it's gonna be someone who just does not like me for whatever reason they made up or what a certain news station told them. I'm just kind of used to it. I got to do what I
Well, there's 8 billion people on the planet.
Oh, yeah.
We can't expect everyone to like us. However, you're facing some additional challenges that a white person like me would never face.
Right. But like I think that's in a way the story of America. If you think about it, other than the Anglo-Saxons, every other racial group, or what you want to say, had to experience discrimination, from the Italians to the Irish to the Japanese, especially to African Americans, Native Americans, Polish people. Like just people can argue with that, but like that's literally the story of America. Groups moving in here, facing discrimination, facing horrible human rights abuses. And you can't say like if anyone say no, we don't do it. Your grandmother talks about Ellis Island for a reason. That what was going on there was inhumane. Like it's the American tradition, unfortunately, for groups of people to be discriminated against and onto. But
when
like
people come to me and they say white privilege doesn't exist, I look at them.
Oh yeah,
and I would say, have you ever been black?
Yeah.
Have you ever been Asian?
It's persistent, but it's when the population is mostly what you consider to be white, which I don't think. I think white is just like a made up term after a while, because like when you go back to when someone asks like what your race is, do you really say right, or do you say like I'm Irish, or like I'm German? Like for a while, because Irish people were not considered white. You know what I mean? Sometimes we're considered white. But I think it's just a way of just like a social engineering tool. Like we are these people, and those people over here, they're bad, they're evil. We gotta hunt them. We gotta separate them. We gotta make laws against them. I refuse to see that way, right? I will see for your answers. You say I'm American too. Awesome, we're both American. If you're like identify as white, it's a little bit troubling, because it's like you don't acknowledge your ancestry, because you're not just white. Your skin is maybe pale, sure, or white, but like you're not white. You're like you're Irish or something.
Everybody comes from a culture.
You come from somewhere, and I've met people who would like other white people, air quotation on the white, that will sit here and say like, no, I'm American, you know, even though I'm German ancestry with a French last name and da, da, da. I'm like, so you know nothing other than like hot dogs and baseball and NBA. Like you got nothing at your house that you celebrate other than Thanksgiving and Easter. Like there's no traditions you got. You ain't got no like family, like nothing. And like it's amazing to see how people will rather accept like that majority safety blanket of social engineering of whiteness, that white privilege, and trade for their culture. Because there's so many people who do not know their culture, whoever they be, French or German or you know Azerbaijani. They're just like, nope, I'm not that. I'm American, or I'm white. Nothing else matters. I'm like, that's insane. That's literally insane to me. It's really like circular thinking if you think about it.
And next week we're going to continue our conversation with Zeke Mercer, and a free prescription that you can cash anywhere, which is fruits, nuts, and vegetables. Unplug your television and take up fishing. And for a truly mindful experience, we suggest that you fish without bait. Do a kindness for yourself and do a kindness for another. Forgive yourself and forgive another. If we're all not the Creator's children, then none of us are. Till all are free, none are free. Namaste.
Please check out our website at fishingwithoutbait.com, where you can listen to the show, comment on our discussions, and find out where you can subscribe to our podcast. If you're interested in flying the colors of Fishing Without Bait, click the shop icon on our website. We have clothing, mugs, cell phone cases, and so much more. Show the world that you fish without bait. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.